regions, Afar in the east and Amhara region in the west. There was no such thing as Western Tigray. This is the old map that the whole wide world knows before the Tigrayans came to power in 1991. Right after King Haile Selassie's demise, when Mengistu Haile Mariam took power in Addis Ababa, a group of 7 or 9 people went into the Tigrayan jungle and established TPLF, the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, with a dream of forming the Greater Tigray as a country seceding from Ethiopia. With the Derg regime's dictatorial mistakes and ideological mishaps, the TPLF group through time was able to get ground in Tigray and won the hearts and minds of the Tigrayan people. Just because Mengistu Haile Mariam's worsening leadership was not accepted throughout the country, the TPLF was also able to convince the Amhara and Oromo elites to establish a coalition party called the EPRDF, which finally made the TPLF put their primary ambition of seceding from Ethiopia on hold and grab the power to lead the country as a whole. This is the time when Ethiopia's worst nightmare started taking place. Madam Congresswoman, till this critical moment in time, Ethiopia's map was still the same map that we received from King Menelik. And Ethiopians never had major tribal problems except some workable issues here and there, mostly coming from cattle shepherds and fertile land controversies. And Ethiopians never had major tribal problems. Rather, the main problem we had with Mengistu Haile Mariam's leadership was the communist ideology that took away everybody's land and private properties and made them government-owned. But let me show you one CNN video.
Appeal to Ethiopian officials for aircraft to fly supplies where they are desperately needed. Just how bad the situation really is in Ethiopia is difficult to determine because it is difficult to get unbiased information out of the highly volatile war zone. But one reporter who recently left the region managed to sneak out some forbidden footage. Lindsay Taylor has this account of his stay in Ethiopia.
No runway lights, airport navigation aids switched off, no one responding to radio messages. This was our first hint of what a country in revolution is like. One of Africa's busiest airports, all but deserted. The empty control tower adding to the eerie atmosphere. But we were not alone. Instead of ground staff, we found young rebel soldiers. Tigrayan troops now controlling the airport. A 24-hour curfew had been enforced after the brief but fierce battle against forces loyal to the ousted dictator Mengistu. Despite the battle scars, this seemed to be a remarkably peaceful revolution. In neighbouring Somalia, thousands were massacred when the rebels seized control of Mogadishu. But here, despite the ease of entry, the Army of Liberation was not welcomed with open arms. Are most people happy to see the rebels here, most of these people here?
በአሁን ጊዜ ተደስታችሁ ወይ ሰላም ነው ወይ እነዚህ የሞቱ የገቡት ብሎ እየጠየቀ አንዳንዳችሁ እንትን የደስታ ስሜት ካላችሁ መናገር ትችላላችሁ። No, absolutely no. We are in prison. We are in prison. We have no democracy. We are under the gun.
However much their hatred of Mengistu, many people in the capital, the EPRDF, made up of mainly Tigrayan soldiers from the north, was like an occupying army.
After the EPRDF, the first thing the EPRDF did as soon as they grabbed the political power was divide the country into 11 ethnic-based geographical locations and change the name of the provinces to their respective tribal names. With this newly introduced map, the TPLF took land that did not originally belong to them and which still is the source of the clash between the Amhara and the Tigray states. This is the new map. This here is Tigray. This is the Amhara region. This here is Tigray. And this is the Amhara region. And this is Djibouti. So this is the old map that we used to have before. This is Tigray. This is Wollo, the Amhara region. And this is Gondar, the Amhara region, and this is Tigray, and this is Eritrea here. So this land here belonged to the Amhara region. So as soon as they took power,
I see it.
as soon as they took power, so they came up with this map.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You're showing me the disputed area?
Yeah, I'm trying to show you the disputed area here. This is an access to the Sudanese border. The Tigrayan region didn't have an access to the Sudanese border. This is a very fertile land which belonged to the Amhara region. But when they took power, because there was no resistance, because all the parties, everybody is poor and had no weapon, because the TPLF was the leaders of the rebel, they took, without any resistance, they took this land and had access to the Sudanese border. Now, I want you to listen to this one. After introducing 11 ethnic-based geographical locations and changed the names of the provinces to their respective tribal names. Before, there was no tribal name. It was just geographical names. I was born in Jimma. It's now called Oromia with the tribal name. But when I was born, I'm 52 years old, it was called Jimma. But now, I have to say I am from this tribe, not from this place. So, this is not the only thing they did. They took out history course, Ethiopian history, from the curriculum of the Ethiopian high schools and from the Ethiopian universities, so that the youth doesn't ask about their history. Dear Madam Congress, during the last 27 years of EPRDF's leadership in Ethiopia under Meles Zenawi, not a year passed without a protest against the EPRDF. Here in Ethiopia and in every state in America, every single month there has been a protest against Meles Zenawi's dictatorship. But America never gave any attention to any of the protests happening during those times. More than 20,000 people were blacklisted not to ever return to their country just because they protested against politics. Thousands of people were killed, tortured, or disappeared for standing against TPLF's separatism ideology. To your surprise, my friends, I can be corrected on this, but I have never heard the EPRDF leaders mention the name Ethiopia during their 27 years of leading the country. Never in history, never in the 27 years, be it Meles Zenawi, be it Haile Mariam, be it the other leaders, never mentioned in the media the name Ethiopia. Simply put, TPLF can be registered on the Guinness Book of Records for being the only government in the world who were able to hypnotize an entire country for 27 years to its disaster. After 27 years, Ethiopians couldn't take it anymore, and demonstrations or protests erupted in every region all over Ethiopia. Gondar, Oromia, every state. After 27 years, Ethiopians couldn't take it anymore, and demonstrations of protests erupted in every region all over Ethiopia. The TPLF killed as many as they could, but could not stop the demonstrations and could not threaten the angry youth by their killings. The then Prime Minister Haile Mariam became the first in African history to resign from serving as a puppet Prime Minister to the TPLF group. The TPLF was forced to leave power after 27 years of looting the country to its core. And the current Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power with a promise to bring the country together and also a promise to make peace with Eritrea. This was how he was accepted by the whole nation. For the first time in 50 years, happy about their leader. But the TPL forces knew their time has come to take it to the north and started working towards their hidden agenda of secession. Unusually in Africa, the new Prime Minister allowed the TPLF members to take whatever they looted and live peacefully in Mekelle, the capital city of the Tigray region. Their hunger for power wouldn't let go. They started